Hi, this is Greg. Look for my book, The Agile Brand, on Amazon or on my website at theagile.world. Welcome back to the Agile World. I'm Greg Kihlstrom. In the last episode, I talked about the first item in what I termed the Agile Brand Manifesto. In my book, The Agile Brand, I mirror the Agile Manifesto, which a group of software developers wrote in 2001, which really launched the Agile movement. So I go through 4 items that I believe any Agile brand needs to adopt and value. The first thing, which I talked about in the last episode, is valuing long-term customers over short-term sales, and how really thinking in the big picture and the long term creates a more valuable customer base in the long term, as well as a more valuable business. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the second item, which is valuing dialogue with customers over broadcasting one-way marketing messaging. The third thing is staying true to our values over doing whatever we can to generate profits. And the last one, which I'll talk about in a few episodes, is continual improvement over maintaining the status quo. So let's talk about dialogue with customers. We often, in the marketing world, term the broadcasting of one-way marketing messaging as kind of the Mad Men way of doing things. And, certainly if you're familiar with that show, you know exactly what that means, but you're probably familiar with that anyway, is this idea that broadcast, television, radio, print ads, really messaging and advertising that really doesn't promote a two-way dialogue has a purpose. It certainly will never go away. There will always be some type of need for it, but Agile brands value dialogue with customers over solely doing that. So in other words, there's a mix. There's a marketing mix that needs to be done, and that mix becomes more and more important, and those one-way messages become less and less necessary the more dialogue you have with customers. And similarly enough, the more word of mouth you have, the more you're giving your customers vocabulary and information and things like that to give to other customers, to other potential customers, the less you need that one-way marketing messaging as well. And so there's this interplay between teaching people a vocabulary, as I talked about earlier on in this podcast, teaching people a vocabulary of how you would like people to talk about you. That's very important. It's very important in branding. It's very important in kind of setting the stage for your mission, your values, your positioning, all of those types of things. But giving people the ability to have a dialogue and giving customers that vocabulary to use for their own, kind of make their own, is so important as well. And it can be so much more valuable when you do that. Word of mouth marketing can be so much more effective than solely, broadcasting a one-way message. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about how Agile brands stay true to their values over simply doing whatever they can to generate profits. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please rate the show on iTunes or contact me through my website at theagile.world. You can find my books, The Agile Brand and The Agile Web, on Amazon and on my website at theagile.world.